Hello, besties. How are you tonight? This week we have so many Bravo news. In the past 2 days, we have the New Jersey trailer. We had the New Jersey new photo cast. We got the news of when New Jersey is gonna be premiere, which is February. We also got the Salt Lake City looks for the reunion that we will be talking about it tonight. We have a new episode of Salt Lake City and also an episode of Miami that both of them are delivering for different reasons. And I'm here to talk all about it with you guys because I'm excited about these two franchises. I'm more excited about Miami because it feels raw and real. You know, Salt Lake City has been always been a hit or miss for me when it comes to the developing of their storylines. But I'm not gonna lie, last night episode showed a very interesting type of franchise because at the beginning of the episode, the editors are having so much fun with this mystery type of editing. I felt like I was watching an episode of American Horror Stories with the whole like really fast cuts and like black and whites and that weird noise. I was just waiting for the production credits to be like Ryan Murphy. I was like, is he editing this episode tonight? Because it's getting a little in the creepy side. I'm into it though. I like that kind of stuff. But the episode starts when, the aftermath of the crazy night out the ladies had in San Diego, dressed as Marilyn Monroe and all this stuff. We spoke about that in the last episode. I still believe that the looks were very dollar store with those Party City wigs. Horrible. Whoever decided to do that, I mean, needs to be fired. But in the morning, we are shocked to find out that Heather has a black eye. She's talking to Miss Jensha, and they are having this conversation as if they knew who did this. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm reading too much into the body language that I noticed between the both of them. But there was not an ounce of like natural sense of shock. It felt like they planned this conversation so they can use this as a cover up. They were even saying it like, oh, we need to find a story. And Jen Shah, being the master of scamming, she came out with like 20 freaking lies and cover up stories in within a minute. We got the spider that honestly I never heard that before, so I'm gonna have to Google it. I have no idea about like spiders laying eggs in your eyes. I mean, I hate spiders. I'm afraid of spiders. And just thinking about the fact that there might be a type of spider that comes and lay eggs on your eyes and you die from that. I mean, like, come on. Like, I don't want to know that. I think that was too much information for me to handle. And I need a whole Discovery Channel documentary on it. And if you know about it, please send me the link because I'm really curious and I'm going to be even more petrified when I see spiders now. So not fun. Somebody who has like a little bit of what's it called, arachnophobia, when you're scared of spiders. I have that. Like I legit like I'm petrified when I see spiders. And then we have the story that maybe she invited somebody over from Tinder and stole or her belongings or something. And then there's another story that Jen Shah came up with. It's like she went to a bar, Heather went to a bar and got into a bar fight. I mean, that's kind of believable. I mean, it's Heather. I feel like she will be one of those people that get super drunk and might start a fight in a bar. She had that vibe. Honestly, I get that vibe from her. But yeah, the I'm just shocked on how easily Gensha can come up with all these crazy, stories to cover this whole eye situation. It's shocking because, I mean, if I was the one that, you know, find the person with a black eye, I would be so shocked that I would not know what to say. So, and then they call Meredith. She did have that look of shock that she didn't know what was happening. So I do believe deep inside the Meredith did not know any of this, and she was called in because obviously Heather and Jensha and Meredith are friends, and as Heather said, her other friend was Whitney, but they are in a really bad place right now. Definitely a change of dynamics. I'm like, so, like, I really love when there's this type of really like extreme change of dynamics where we see Lisa Barlow kicking with Whitney, and they used to hate each other for the past 2 seasons. And right now, Lisa Barlow is being a better friend to Whitney than Heather ever was to Whitney. If you notice, I don't know if you guys are on Twitter. I am. If you want to find my Twitter account, it's Martini with Eddie. I put all the tea on it. I do the recaps. I do also live tweeting. So as I'm watching the show, I'm tweeting so you can see my opinion right on the spot. But last night, after the episode aired, what's her name? Jensha. She went after Whitney because Whitney said on the show after they saw Heather with the black eye and Heather trying to make excuses to not tell people what happened. She said that the only person that she genuinely believed that might be involved in this is Jen Shah, just because the way that Heather is, trying to avoid this conversation. So Jen Shah went on Twitter and started to attack Whitney. She posted an image of Whitney and like a friend that is allegedly involved with the whole insurrection in January 6th. And Lisa Barlow went on and off on Jensha, posting pictures with that same friend and having a kiki like at a party or something with this girl that she's trying to, you know, associate just with Whitney, trying to make it look like Whitney is either racist or, problematic because she's associated with somebody who posted about the insurrection in January 6th. But she is also kikiing with the same person. So honestly, I'm so happy that Lisa came with receipts, because one thing that I've got to say about Lisa Barlow is the perfect person to show receipts online. Like every time that one of these ladies try to drag her online, she's not afraid to post receipts, even if it's a little like off-putting, like putting the date of Meredith, that passing or the text message. So she proved that she did send a text message to Meredith because she posted the text and the dates and the time. Same thing with Heather in the obituary. There was a huge deal because they were trying to paint Lisa as this like heartless person, but she's like, no, I actually reached out to you. Look at the dates, compare the dates. This is the truth. And obviously, when she tried to defend herself, they tried to paint her as like this, like vile person. But at least she come with receipts. This time was Jen Shah and this girl from the insurrection, allegedly, and Whitney. And she's like, no, you're trying to push this narrative that Whitney is like the only friend with this girl when you are also a friend with her. And I never seen Heather do the same thing for Whitney before. I never saw her going online defend her when people were attacking her, when somebody else came for her. Nothing. Radio silent. The only time that she inserted herself, whenever she said what she needed to say, was when she was involved directly. Because in the previous season, we had bad weather, and bad weather was Whitney and Heather. So whenever people spoke about bad weather, she jumped in. But when people were attacking Whitney, she was pretty radio silent. Like we can even, find that on Twitter. So I'm very happy that Lisa and Whitney are building this friendship because it seems like it makes sense to me. We said this from the beginning. The moment that Whitney and Lisa become really good friends, it's when we see a real dynamic on the show that makes a lot of sense. Whitney and Heather, to me, was more like a friendship, or like they are family, they're cousins, so they needed to be friendly and they have this like family bond or whatever. But it also felt like an alliance, like it was for a convenience because they needed each other in some level. And even Whitney said it last night, when she said that the only reason why Heather was her friend, it was to poison her brain against Lisa Barlow. But so it's true. And it's kind of weird to me to see Heather trying to avoid the conversation about the black eye. That's the one red flag that I have that make me feel like it's either Jen Shah or it's something that she doesn't want people to know about that she did, that she herself did, not somebody else did. Because trust me, if it was Whitney, if it was Lisa, if it was Angie K, if it was Dana, she would be singing that name because she needed that to get one of these girls out of the show. Imagine Lisa Barlow being the one. I mean, let's put it in a hypothetical way. Imagine if Lisa Barlow was the one who, got physical with Heather. This would be the perfect way to Heather accomplish what she's been trying to do for all this time. That is, get Lisa out of the show. Try to put one and one together. The only reason why she's trying to avoid the conversation is because the person who's directly involved is either somebody that she's protecting to avoid any higher retaliation, or she did that herself and she needs this, conversation to be had online or because of the show so she can have something else beside the goddamn choir and the book, The Bad Mormon. That's the only brand she has. And I appreciate a brand, but there has to be something else, Heather, to be interesting. And I find this black eye situation the perfect way to have something going on. So by not talking about it, she's gonna be dragging this, and it's giving Aspen. This is how I feel about this. It's giving Aspen, where we're never gonna find out exactly who did it, or we're never gonna know what really happened because the footage went missing, or there's no audio or whatever. But in this case, in particular, Heather had a camera in her casita because we saw when she opened the door, when she was hanging out with Jen Shah and NGK after they all went to bed. So I'm 100% sure that there has to be some sort of footage or image of somebody walking into that place. And she even said it. Don't open the door to a mysterious knock in the middle of the night. So the camera who was that was pointing at the door, the one that kept showing those images, very American Horror Story or like Paranormal Activity kind of thing. Like that editing was just freaking insane. It was giving me kind of like I was afraid I was gonna have a freaking panic attack. He was so like sharp cutting in the audio, and I get really anxious when I watch scary movie for that reason. So we should know, or whoever did it needs to be exposed for the simple fact that this is a domestic, is a physical altercation. This is something that happened to a cast. Heather got a black eye out of this and scratches everywhere. So this is a little too much to cover up. And it's really exhausting when the cast member that has been attacked constantly try to cover up for somebody else. If you're not gonna talk about it, if you're not gonna say anything about it, let's just ignore that it even happened. Period. Like I don't want to know. And then the ladies go in different. They go to this like little go kart scene, which is really cute, having fun. That's awesome. Then they go different ways, and Lisa, Whitney, and Dana go roller skating, and the rest, Angie K, Meredith, and Jen Shaw, go to like a little wine tasting, like a winery. And Meredith keeps talking about Lisa Barlow's business. And to be honest, that's none of her business. Honestly, what's the whole point of bringing this up when whatever she's saying, it seems so obvious that it's retaliation from the hot mic. So she is digging for dirt. This is not like a random DM that she got. This is something that she's been looking to talk about Lisa on the show after the hot mic. But the problem here is that, unlike Meredith and the hot mic, what she is trying to do is to twist reality. And Lisa Barlow is not there for that type of like, you know, misrepresentation of her character, because she is not afraid to pull out receipts. Like I said before, she's not afraid to say what needs to be said. When Whitney brought that up to her, the Meredith is trying to paint her business as a failing business. She said like, no, I am doing well. We did have we did look for loans and stuff like that for a different brand that is being used nationwide, to distribute nationwide, but it's not Vita Tequila. So with that said, what really mattered here is that she's not afraid to speak on it. And then they are expecting, Angie K to not say a thing when, I mean, it's really stupid. Like, come on. It was, to me, seems like they either did it on purpose so Lisa finds out what they were talking about, or they just not thinking. Because if Angie K was having a good time and getting close to Lisa Barlow, and she heard what these women were saying about Lisa Barlow's family, trust me, a good friend is gonna do that. It's gonna run and say, hey, these people were talking about you, about your business. And I think it's really sketchy and it's really weird. And that's exactly what happened. She went back and she told Lisa what happened. And I think it's freaking hysterical the way that, NGK presented the information to Lisa. And in that confessional, she said, birds of the same feather flock together, and these are not cute birds, these are seagulls, because seagulls shit on people. I think that was hysterical. I mean, I love NGK's confessionals. A lot of people online think that it's to rehearse, or it seems like somebody wrote it for her, or this doesn't seem natural. But honestly, this type of like petty Reeds are old school housewife. If you have watched Beverly Hills or New York or New Jersey from the beginning, you know that at the beginning the Reeds were petty. It was about money. It was about being rich, or somebody was more. It was richer than the other one. They were trying to make it look like they were, some cheap person. That was the type of pettiness that we used to enjoy of housewife, and that's the type of read the Angie Kate has been giving us. Like that feather flocked together, and the way that she was, trying to explain how, Lisa Barlow is not poor because if she has that car and that house and those businesses, that looks like they are very successful. I mean, then she's not broke. Is that what broke is? She wants to be that broke. I mean, it is true. So honestly, it is given old school housewife, and I hope people appreciate that because I'm getting tired of only um, giving spotlight to criminals or people who are going to jail or the ones that are going through legal issues like Erica Jane. Like I want some more pettiness. I want rich women just being petty for the sake of being petty. And because they're so rich that they just don't care about anything and they talk about some random stuff like being bird or being a seagull who shit on people. Lisa Barlow was upset after she received this news, and she was ready. She was ready to go after Meredith. She said that she's giving Mariah Carey. Like why she's so obsessed with her. NGK has planned for the ladies that night for a Greek inspired dinner, with all the goddesses dresses, and honestly everybody was looking great. Everybody were looking like Greek goddesses. Heather was looking like a pirate with that eye patch. Which, by the way, who has an eye patch like handy on a trip? She said that Jensha gave it to her, and they put it together. And like, who the hell packs an eye patch? Like, I'm going on a trip in February. I'm gonna be like, you know what? Maybe I need to bring an eye patch. Like, I'm gonna put it next to my toothbrush and my hair product, just in case, because who knows? Maybe somebody needs an eye patch for the night. I mean, who does that? For that reason, I believe that this whole situation is very sketchy. I mean, let's be honest. The fact that Heather has trying to avoid the conversation, even when the lady has been asking her to say who that was, it just given. I don't know. I don't trust it. I don't trust people like that. So when Meredith joined the table, Lisa was like, "Oh no, you're not gonna talk to me," and she started to imitate her voice. You know that Meredith has this like weird way of speaking, kind of like slow and very deep and like monotone, like I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm excited. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to do the whole voice, but it sounds so monotone. Like there's no emotion behind it. So I'm obsessed with Lisa Barlow's, you know, interpretation of Meredith voice. Once again, they brought up the whole, business, and you know, Lisa said, you are mad at the hot mic. Like, let's move on. And there's no way to move on because you keep bringing this up to try to destroy me. And it's true. Like I said, I had said it many times. I believe that Lisa has apologized enough, and they have spoken about moving forward. But every time that they try to move forward, it seems like Meredith brings something up. At the beginning, was the hot mic, and now is let's look for any you know little detail of Lisa's life to expose. So now we have this random DM that I got about Lisa Barlow's businesses. So let's expose that. When I mean, it's true. Businesses at the beginning, no matter how much money you have, you tend to have like a loan. It's a Kickstart, loan or something like that. It's not weird. It happens all the time. It's a cushion to make sure that the business can, be profitable. That's how most businesses actually start. So maybe they just need to take a master class on businesses because it's very weird for somebody who has a business is trying to twist the usage of um, of this type of loan. It's gonna give him mortgage on Miami, which we will talk later. Remember when Lisa was kind of embarrassed that Larsa mentioned a mortgage as if having a mortgage was something wrong, or only people who are poor or something have, when everybody, a lot of people have it, just because it's an equity. I'm sorry if I said it wrong, but you know what I'm saying. It's giving the same thing. It's just giving that you don't understand how businesses work, or you just don't want to understand. So you can use that to make people believe that Lisa Barlow is actually not that successful. But Lisa is not the person to go after when we know that she is gonna come up with receipt. And she said, like, do you want me to post? I can post it on Instagram. I don't care because I have all the paperwork. I know what I'm talking about. They just trying to twist my story. Whew. Salt Lake City. I mean, it has taken a long time for this season to start. It's kind of random to say that the people who are holding it up for the franchise to feel excited is the friend of. So maybe at the reunion they should be sitting next to Andy. I mean, let's be honest. The only person out of like the main cast that is truly working for her paycheck is Lisa Barlow. And then we have, the supporting cast. I still don't understand why Meredith is a full-time housewife. I can see, Heather because, you know, even though she doesn't bring anything to the table besides being a bad Mormon, she has been involved in the mess since day one. She likes to ride the coattail of somebody else. And then we have Whitney. It's okay. Jen Shah is a full-time housewife just by default. She has that reality TV star personality, which it's why she got on the show in the first place. Beside that, I mean, the people who are truly, truly working hard for that paycheck are the friend of. NGK and Dana have made the past few episodes watchable. How crazy is that? How crazy is the people who are not holding the snowflakes are the one who should have a snowflake in the first place. And I hope Bravo is taking notes because when Jen Shah goes to the clinky, clinky, clanky, clanky, clink, clank time, they need to bring people to carry the show. And I can see NGK holding a snowflake. Dana, I still need to see her more involved in the mess and see her shine a little more. We might see that in upcoming episodes. I do know that there is a clip on the first trailer that we got at the beginning of the season where Jen Shah and Dana are going at each other for some business conversation. I think a book or something. So there is something brewing between Dana and Jen Shah that might explode towards the end of the season. So I want to see how that goes. But so far, NGK deserved the snowflake. She needs that snowflake to be given to her. I don't even know why she didn't get in the first place. Maybe because they started filming so late into the season. That's what I believe that happened. Remember that I mentioned before that, Jenny, Insurrection Jenny, she was supposed to be part of this cast. She was filming at the beginning, but because of the whole racist post on Facebook and stuff like that, she got cut and erased completely from this season. And the friend of were invited after they were filming. So that's the only reason why I believe that they're not holding snowflakes. But going into next season, I see NGK securing that spot. She has everything going on to be a full-time housewife. She has the money, she has the that petty personality, she had the fashion sense, she had the confessionals. She has it down to the T. And now we know her. We are familiar with her. Sometimes when they bring somebody new, it takes more time for people to get used to them, to accept them into the cast. So NGK is a familiar face. It has all the qualities. Um, why not? I want to see how she does on the reunion. That's what I want to see. And talking about the reunion, we just got the first look of all the cast looks for the reunion. And let me tell you, it's better than last time because last reunion looks were a complete disaster. All of them, I mean, nobody looked good at all on the last reunion. It was crazy. This time, the theme of the reunion looks are gold, orange, and peach. So I wonder if Jen Shah was planning on wearing orange to the reunion just to practice. I mean, what a coincidence. What a coincidence that when Jen Shah is going to the Clink Clink, Salt Lake City has an orange theme. I don't know. It seems like a shade to me. It seems shady. I don't know. You guys tell me. If you guys are listening right now, I want you to go on my YouTube channel or my Twitter or Instagram and find the post of the reunion looks and tell me, do you think that Bravo doing an orange theme for the reunion is shady? You know, if you look at the time that is happening, right before Jen Shah is going to the Clink Clink. Lisa Barlow, to me, is my favorite look. The color looks so great against her tan skin. The hair, the makeup, she looks flawless. The shoes, Louboutin shoes. She's wearing a Gucci dress. The jewelry is by Baranov Jeweler. Baranov Jewelers. The hair is by Olivia Halpin. The makeup is by Morgan Miller. And she looks great. To me, it's the best look of the whole entire cast. She understands her body type. We had seen that body, shape before. She likes to wear that, and I think she knows her body. This time, the color choice is perfect. Perfect for her. Heather Gay has this horrendous dress on. To me, that's my worst dress of the reunion. Yes, I did that. I did the best dress first, Lisa Barlow, and now the worst dress, Heather Gay. She's wearing this bridesmaid once again, or kind of cheap prom drape dress with one shoulder, arm thin. The shoes don't match the dress because the dress is like an orange peach type of tone. And she's wearing this like, I don't know if it's gold or green. It doesn't match at all. Like who styled this woman? And let me tell you, Heather Gay has the worst style on that franchise. Like whoever is dressing her hates her. Like who sends people dressing like this and getting paid to do that? Like I want to know. The dress is Ria Costa. The shoes are Mac and Mac. The hair is Sherlock Holmes. The makeup is Taylor Fitzgerald. And I'm going to be messing up these names because my accent sometimes plays with my tongue and I can't pronounce those names. So I apologize. But I'm going to try to give you guys the people who styled them. So they get the credit. They deserve the credit sometimes. Meredith Mark. She is wearing a. It's more like a midi dress. It has like shoulder pads, which is very Meredith Mark. Finally, a dress with no feathers because those goddamn feathers were driving me fucking crazy. Like who dressed with like a freaking parrot feathers coming out of their pants? That dress that she was wearing last season was horrendous. The dress is by Alexander Vauthier. The shoes are Tom Ford. Actually, I love the shoes. Um, I love a nice strappy gold shoe, so good for her. The jewelry is by Meredith Mark. She's promoting her own jewelry line. That's great. That's a businesswoman. The hair is by Henry de la Paz. The makeup is Stephanie Perez. The styling, hold on to your chairs, is by Brooks Mark. Brooks Mark style Meredith Marks, and I'm just happy that Meredith finally decided to get a dress from a designer and she's not wearing her son's fashion school project because we had seen that before and it's always this ugly fitting dress. This time the dress fits right, the design is good for her, the color is great. I will say she's my number two after Lisa Barlow. So Brooks Marks, if you're listening, maybe you should not go into design. Maybe you should just go for styling. Because with styling, you don't have to, sew or sit down and create and design a dress. With styling, you just go to the designer, you go to the jewelry, you go to the makeup people, you go to the hair people, and you put them together and create a look. And I mean, if you really style your mother, my advice to you is stick to styling and leave the design to the designers. Because glue, like gluing feathers to a pen is not design, and putting your name on the side of the tracksuit is not designing either. Because if that's the case, every single person online right now who are making t-shirts on a t-shirt.com or whatever website, they're designers too. And no, fashion designers leave the fashion to people who knows how to design and just stick to styling. That's my advice to Brooks Mark. Hopefully you're listening. Whitney Rose, she is wearing this peach dress with a zipper right in the middle. The tatas are hanging out. I mean, she had good boobs. That's all I'm going to say. I'm gay, so gay men, we love boobs. We are boob people. I love the hair and the makeup. I want to say that she looks radiant. I'm not a fan of the dress because it's giving me prom. It's giving prom. And prom is not fashion. Prom is definitely not fashionable. Usually, prom dresses are kind of like what people think is fashion, not what it actually fashion is. So that's just my perspective. But the makeup in the hair, good for her. Angie K is wearing a Walter Mendes Atelier. The hair is by Emily Gully, and the makeup is Jillian Ruby. I love this look. I love a golden goddess. I'm a big fan of details. I'm a big fan of embroidery, a big fan of, making statement, and I'm obsessed with her evil eye holding the train of her dress. I know a lot of people are not gonna like this. This is not for everybody, but it is giving Greek goddess, and she is very proud of her Greek parents. So I see the look, I see the vibe, I see what she went for. She definitely got inspiration from Greek goddesses, and I like it. I love a moment, and she's given it 100%. Dana, Dana is wearing like an orange dress with a cape that kind of like hangs from the shoulder. I know this look is not gonna be well received by many people because it's very complicated to understand. I wish that the fabric was different. That's my problem with Dana. Dana's dress has a beautiful design. I love the design. It definitely got inspiration from her Asian heritage, which I love. I love when housewife, take inspiration from their own background for anything, for either a dinner or a fashion moment. We had it on Beverly Hills with Crystal, with Garcelle too. So I love that. I love when they take, their culture and they put it on the show in some kind of form. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, maybe I have not seen the hints on the show right now, but this is the first time that Dana truly showcased her heritage. The dress is great. The problem that I have with this dress is the fabric. The cape is fine. I mean, the cape needs to be flowy, it's light. I can see what they were going for. But the the actual dress, it seems like a chiffon. It's very shiny. So maybe something else. Maybe something that actually give a contrast with the corset because it has some sort of design that like give the illusion of a corset, and it gets lost because they are both the same color. So I believe that the illusion would have been better if the design of the corset was a different color or a different texture, or maybe just the dress pick a different fabric. I don't like the fabric. It's too shiny, and shiny usually reads cheap. And last but not least is Angie H, which by the way, I'm still wondering what the hell is she doing at the reunion? Like, girl, the only thing that you had going on was this troll account that we solved in like a day. We were just having secondhand embarrassment for you and your husband. So I'm still trying to understand what the fuck was Angie H doing at the reunion. What is she gonna talk to Andy about? Like, I can only imagine like Andy like, "Hi Angie H, how are ya?" And Angie's like, "Hi Andy." And then Andy's like, "Okay, let's go to the next person," and she will not talk to her ever again. She's to me, she's just like if body to sit at the on the couch just because Jen Shah is not at the reunion, so they need to balance the couches because on one side is going to be Heather sitting next to Andy, and then we have Meredith and Angie H on one side, and on the other side we have Lisa Barlow, Angie, Whitney, Angie K, and Dana. So they needed somebody to balance the couches, so they invited Angie H. But I'm trying to understand what she is going to talk about when she wasn't even invited to San Diego, where the whole drama happened. You know, she's just going to like parrot whatever Heather told her, and that's so annoying. Like she didn't experience the moment, so why is she even there? She doesn't even go here. She's wearing this like orange leaf dress with like a new illusion underneath. Cute. Hair is cute. Beautiful gown. If you know that shade. If you know that shade. If you know that shade, you know what I'm talking about. Google beautiful gowns. Trust me when I say look for Aretha Franklin saying beautiful gowns, and you will know what I'm talking about. And that is the looks. Honestly, I am neutral with these looks. They are not amazing. They're not fashion moments. They're not like incredible. But it's definitely better than last season. They're more cohesive. I can see the theme. Like I said before, the theme is shades of gold, orange, and peach. Shade, orange shade. I'm telling you, that's shade. And I like the visual as a whole. I'm not a big fan of the designs. It just a little basic. It's too basic. But it's better than last season, so I'm gonna go with that. That's all. Moving on from Salt Lake City. Let's go to Miami, to sunny Miami. The girls still in their vacation in the Keys, and we are back to the Lenny of it all. Obviously, last time that we saw the ladies in Miami, they were talking to Lisa about, Lenny asking for divorce and having this girl, as a girlfriend. So the conversation now goes a little deeper. We know that the ladies not only know that Lenny asked Lisa to move out, that Lenny has a girlfriend, but the girlfriend has been following Lisa on Instagram and her social medias like a stalker, like a goddamn stalker. And it's embarrassing. Like, girl, why would you do that? Why would you wreck a whole entire family? If you are following her on Instagram, you know what her life is all about. You know that she had kids. Embarrassing. Like, please, before you get involved with anyone, this is my advice to people. Like, I understand the marriages are not always, you know, stable, are not always a forever case. And maybe Lenny and Lisa's marriage was done even before this lady came into the picture. But do not, this is my advice, do not get involved with a person who's still married. Wait until the ink is dry on the divorce papers before you get involved, because then you look like a homewrecker, and it's not a good look. I just think it's hysterical. The Marisol is like, let me see this hoe. Let me see this hoe. Because Lisa was showing the picture to all the girls that she didn't want to miss the tea. Adriana and Julia were sitting eating sushi, and they were like, I'm not moving. We are having dinner. They seemed like to be fighting. They didn't know what was happening. So I think it's really funny that they decided to completely ignore the conversation that they were having to eat sushi. But then they obviously got close to the ladies, and they started to realize that the conversation was not necessarily a fight between them, but something else. And that's when Adriana get involved, and Adriana get the best advice. She's like, girl, you don't deserve this. If this guy is okay divorcing you and leaving you because this girl is okay with this, they deserve each other. You don't deserve this. Period. The ladies are really supportive of Lisa, and I appreciate that, because we know that franchises some of the ladies don't get along, and a lot of people will be happy to see the other person's life destroyed. But in this case, every single one of these women is behind Lisa, supporting her and giving her advices, hoping for her to look for a lawyer, even though it's heartbreaking to me to see how she's saying, I still love this man. I still want my family back. I still want this to work. But she knows, I mean, deep inside, she knows that it's over. In a different moment, she's talking to her mother in law, which was supposed to stay with the kids, and Lenny told her not to go or not to stay. Also, the um, the nanny was asked to stay in the guest house instead of watch, the kids and stuff like that, because Lenny had that woman in the house. Dude, like, how disgusting you can be. That while Lisa is, having time with the girls, you bring this woman to your own home with your kids around. I don't get it. Find a freaking room. You have money, go to a freaking hotel if you want to have your good time. But don't bring a side piece, a home wrecker, to your home with your kids around. Don't do that. It's disgusting. It showcases that you have no morals and a lack of true. A real man, don't do that. I'm sorry, a real man doesn't do that to their family. If you want to have your side piece, if you want to have your cake and eat it, go to a freaking hotel. You have the money for it. And until Lisa is not out of the house, that's completely unacceptable and disrespectful. Gertie was talking to her husband about the whole Lisa and Lenny, and she said, like, I don't know what the fuck is happening to this crazy man. Is he crazy, or is he like in cocaine and crack cocaine? What is it? And I'm think both. I mean, I don't know the man. I don't care for to know him, but who acts this way? A crazy person on crack cocaine. It's it's just sad to see how there is a lack of, true understanding of how this can not only affect Lisa but only the kids. When you start doing this nasty stuff around your kids, you are training them to believe that that's okay. And they don't understand. They don't know what's happening because why their dad is hanging out with these women while their mom is away. Like, please, 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 parents, think about this type of stuff before you do anything, especially around your kids. They are having this vacation in the Keys because it's Alexia's birthday. They have this beautiful dinner by the beach. There's a piñata, and Alexia said, like, let me get this bat because le voy a dar un batazo a Lenny. She called the piñata Lenny. So she said in Spanish that she's gonna give him like a nice freaking hit on his face. You know, she's gonna give him a big smack, a batazo with a bat. I just love how Alexia can go from Spanish to English like so effortlessly, and she sounds amazing. I love it. I appreciate my Latina queen. They go, they have this dinner, but Alexia did say something that I do not appreciate. She made a joke about Russian prostitutes knowing that Julia's Russian, and that was below the belt. It's like stereotype, jokes are so 2 decades ago, and I'm Spaniard myself. I understand kind of where Alexia's coming from. We as culture haven't evolved from using stereotypes as a joke. I'm talking about we Spanish speaking people. Obviously, the younger generations are more aware, and that's not their go-to. But you know, Latin Hispanic culture is very ingrained with like colorism and homophobia, and you know making fun of stereotypes. That's like a way to like make light of situations. We hear people talking about you know skin colors or homosexual behavior, and they make jokes out of it, thinking that it's just a joke. It's not a big deal. It's a stereotype, like whatever. But we are more aware now that those type of stereotypes and that type of commentary, can come from a very ignorant place. So I didn't like that display of ignorance coming from Alexia, because I absolutely adore Alexia. She's my favorite from Miami. She's my girl, my Cuban Barbie. I adore her. But that moment was definitely not my favorite moment from her. Like all I was thinking, like, please, Alexis, stop talking. You're making it worse. And obviously, Julia said, like, I mean, you married to a man who was, you know, a drug dealer. What happened if people are judging you for that? Like, what happened if people think like because you were involved with this person, the way that he was making his money was not okay? Why are you judging the way that some women make their money? You know. So she went off because now she brings up her past and she's trying to explain that the money that she had was in blood money. And I mean, but it is a little bit of judgmental mentality. Like, we need to, you know be better, do better. And it's true, like, even Adriana said it, like, I mean, if you're going to judge Russian women based on a documentary that you watched, that explain how some Russian women come to America to have American babies to stay here, how will you be okay, or how will you feel if people are gonna judge her and her ex-husband based on that Cocaine Cowboys documentary? And that's a valid question. you know Adriana was making a lot of good points at the end of the episode, because it's true. And then Alexia tried to say, oh, drug dealers can be good people. You know who are bad people? People who date married people. And that was like a shade to Adriana, because in a previous episode she was talking about the guy that she was dating, and Alexia told her that the guy might be married, and Adriana was like, you're trying to paint me as a homewrecker in times where we are dealing with the Lenny and Lisa situation. So it didn't sit well with her. And it's true too. Like, Alexia at the end was doing the most, and I mean, I love her to death. Like, oh my gosh, she's my favorite woman from Miami. So I'm just hoping that she learned from this conversation, that maybe she addressed it. She apologized many times to Julia, but then they were going back to that place where she was trying to explain herself too much. And when you're trying to explain yourself too much, you know that pretty much you might be wrong. You don't need to explain yourself 20 times to make a point if the point is clear and direct. She heard Julia, she apologized, but the apology was also followed by a but, and there shouldn't be a but on an apology. It's just simply, I apologize for what I said, period. There's not like, but this. No, none of this. That's just my opinion. So let me know. Let me know what you think, because this conversation is important to have, because we tend to laugh and just look the other way when people make some kind of like stereotypical joke. Like in this case, the Russian prostitutes and stuff like that. She wanted to be funny. She wanted to have a moment of like a laugh, and it didn't sit well with Julia. So if she offended her, the right thing to do is just apologize, be sincere about it, and be like, hey, you know what? I didn't mean it that way. I'm truly sorry, and let's move forward. That didn't happen. It kind of happened, but it didn't happen. And that's the end of the episode. I want to know how this, developed, because so far we have so much going on in Miami. We have Lisa and Lenny's divorce. We have Alexia versus Gertie, which, by the way, that's gonna come back soon. Now we have Julia Adriana versus Alexia. And I'm loving it. I love Miami so good. It's shot so beautifully. So, you guys, if you haven't watched Miami, I will say for this holiday season, you should go get Peacock for yourself and binge watch during the holiday season so you can catch up and come back here on Martina with Eddie and follow the whole story. I'm enjoying this so much. I'm enjoying Miami. It's given its top tier housewife, one of my favorites franchise this year. Honestly, out of all the franchises, Miami and I would say also Potomac are given. Salt Lake City, I'm not a fan of the stories so far. They have moments and it could be better, but honestly, Salt Lake City is falling flat compared to other franchises, compared to Potomac and Miami. Miami is amazing, Potomac is great. Beverly Hills this year was so dark, I just want to forget they even existed. And we are getting ready to go into the new year with New Jersey, Orange County. We have a new Ultimate Girls trip coming up, and there's more Bravo shows, obviously like Vanderpump Rules, and we have plenty of Bravo to talk about on 2023. With that said, I want you right now, besties, to go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Also, you can go to Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, or whatever platform you use to listen to your podcast, and subscribe to my podcast too. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram as Martini with Eddie, or on martinywitheddy.com. Besties, I just want to wish you the best holiday weekend. For those who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. And stay tuned. There's more to come. Bravo right now is on a break pretty much. Pretty much every single episode will be back after the new year. So next week I'm gonna have mainly news, and we're gonna talk about the best of the best. Next Friday, Friday the 30th, I have a panel of many content creators where we are going to talk about the best, the worst, and the what the fuck moment of Bravo on 2022. So please tune in at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube and Twitter, and right after you can listen to it on the podcast. So besties, from the bottom of my heart, happy holidays. And thank you so much for your support. It means to me, it doesn't go unnoticed, and I know exactly who goes on Twitter, on my podcast, and my YouTube channel, likes, comments, and all the stuff. People who have been following me since day one. So I know you, I love you, and I truly appreciate. And all the new besties that are coming every single day to my platforms and staying and interacting. I love you. Happy holidays. And with that said, besties, you know what I always say at the end of the episodes. Bye, besties.